Hello, good evening. Today is September 20th, Wednesday, 2023. My name is Kyle Spencer. And if some of you subscribers or folks know who I am, and some don't. So, again, a little bit of background on me. I'm a 11-year United States Marine Corps, 100% disabled veteran. And I'm going through multiple issues within the federal court, tribal court, and Spokane County Superior Court. And it's been a while since I've been on here, so bear with me. I'll be getting a little bit more details, but this is to show you that I'm still here, still alive, and I'm still going. One of the things to bring up right away is I want to say congratulations to Andrea Wasais. She just recently had a baby girl, and very proud of her. And her boyfriend had a brand new baby girl, so that's pretty awesome. So congratulations. So without further ado, kind of. And let me know through some of your questions or your feedback what I can be doing better, or what questions you have, and what things that I can be uploading so that it makes it a little bit easier to watch this and retain the information and knowledge that I'm giving you through my experience and what's happening to me in my cases. So to date, I'll just give you the most recent thing that I sent to Jennifer Manuel, and she's supposedly I don't know what she is, some kind of court clerk or something like that, but I sent a shot of email over there to them because I was requesting 6 court dates, audio recordings, which I was never notified to attend. But and this is dealing with myself and my partner at the time, Crystal Buck, but here it goes. So I sent this off to Miss Manuel today at 12:04 p.m. Like, Miss Manuel, please be advised, as this email serves as authorization for my mother, Frankie Spencer, to drop off my signed legal paperwork that I have paid for, submitted, and requested. I expect professionalism from you and your staff to be conducted at all times. However, the harassment, bad faith, and illegal behavior that you have been displaying is never warranted or acceptable. Regardless of your position or perceived sovereign legal immunity, your conduct, behavior, unprofessionalism, and illegal demands are not in accordance with revised Yakima Code, federal law, and constitutional law. You are acting outside the scope of your authority, position, and capacity. Your continued denial of my legal rights and legal access as a pro se party are duly noted. It will not go unpunished legally. You will also be receiving a follow-up formal complaint letter, which I'm sure will go into the same place as my last formal complaint. But by all means, be my guest and ignore at your own legal peril. Stop harassing my mother and myself with these illegal requests and start conducting yourself appropriately in a professional manner. All people have rights and access to needed court access in order to defend themselves, their rights, and civil liberties. You do not dictate who has access, and it is not at your discretion. It is the law, and you are mandated and required to follow the law. Policy is not law either. I also authorize my mother to pick up those recordings if needed. And I sent this out. But along with that, I sent out this warning to them, because this is coming up very soon in their future. And what it is Title 18 U.S. Code 241, Conspiracy Against Rights. And it's a very serious but rarely used violation of civil rights. And it doesn't matter whether you're on the reservation or off the reservation like me, because I reside and domicile off the reservation for the past 14 years, myself, my kids, and Crystal. But again, they're playing games with exclusive jurisdiction, which they have no jurisdiction whatsoever. But in that Title 18 USC 241, I'll read these pretty damning things against them. So It's like, no person shall have the right to deprive or even conspire to deprive another person of his/her rights. 18 USC 241 prohibits all kinds of interferences with the rights of an individual that has been secured by the individual through the United States Constitution or through any other laws of the United States. By virtue of 18 USC 241, it is a federal crime for two or more persons to conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him/her by the Constitution or laws of the United States. Yakama Nation is in the United States. They're a possession of the United States. Sovereign immunity does not apply when they act outside their scope of authority. Persons who commit an offense under 18 USC 241 are subjected to fine or imprisonment for not more than 10 years or both. However, if the act results in death, kidnapping, or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, then the offenders are subjected to fine or imprisonment for any term of years or for life or both, or may also be sentenced to death. Section 241 applies to instances of conspiracy on the part of both private individuals as well as public officials. It has to be noted that conspiracy of two or more persons to deprive alone is sufficient to invite punishment. There is no requirement that an actual deprivation should have taken place. Let me say that again. There is no requirement that an actual deprivation should have taken place. The federal rights which 18 USC 241 aims to protect are the following: the right of an arrested person to a trial to resolve the questions of his or her guilt, the right of a person charged with a crime to a trial to resolve the question of his or her guilt. 3, the right to testify at a trial. 4, the right to be free from unlawful violence committed under color of state law. 5, the right to travel freely within any of the states of the United States. 6, the right to be provided service in a restaurant or other places of public accommodation without considering the person's race. 7, the right to worship as a person pleases. 8, the right to vote. And drumroll, 9, the right to inform federal officials when there has been a violation of federal law. So this was all sent to them, and this was not how they would consider a threat. This is a promise that I will file that in a timely manner when I deem necessary. To give you guys, you folks, some response back, which they responded. Oh, let's see. Looks like they responded about 3:11 today. So this first one is from Tamara Saluskin. I understand why she's responding as the Deputy Director of Justice Services, but her own court clerk, who's second in command under her, didn't want to stick up for her own self and her own negligent behavior. So she had to run to Tamara to help her. But here it is. Good afternoon, Mr. Spencer. Court Administrator Manuel supervises the clerk's office, and she also clerks and manages all cases pending appeal. I know she is attempting to provide latitude to your mother in assisting you, knowing that your mother has easier access to visit our courts. She is simply following the requirements under the RYC 2.05.03. And then she puts 2.0503, copies of proceedings. And you got to pay attention to the words, same way I am, because these knuckleheads don't even understand how to cite precedents within their own laws. So, that kind of shows you what kind of kangaroo court goes on there. But anyway, this RYC, any party involved in the proceedings may obtain a certified copy of the court proceedings from the clerk upon payment of the fee contained on the schedule established by the chief judge, unless expressly prohibited by this code. So keywords again, any party involved in the case. Hey, I'm involved in the case. All my mom's doing is dropping off the checks and my signed legal documents to them. She's not writing this stuff out, requesting it. I've already done that. So these idiots want to sit there and say that, it's not being done legally or properly. And it is done legally and properly, because I called them and I told them, hey, my mom's coming in to do this and she's dropping this off. So they can't even, back up their own argument. Your mother is not a party in any of your cases, and she's not admitted to practice before this court. And then they cite RYC 3.01.25 and 3.01.27 and cannot represent you. The courts have not received any authorization by you to file documents on your behalf. Well, let me stop right there. So you go out to any state court, any federal court, if you make and you sign it yourself and you have somebody go in and you file court paperwork, they take it. They take the money. They take all of this other stuff. So what Yakama Nation tribal court is doing basically is they're harassing. They're doing stuff in bad faith. And so they're just trying to be aggravating and frustrating. And, they don't know the law themselves. So, let me just be a nuisance. Their theory is, we'll just be a nuisance and we'll try to throw shit and see if it sticks on the wall and claim that that's legal. Well, it's not going to happen with me. I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. So anyway, you mentioned in a separate email your status as a pro se litigant, meaning you are representing yourself. Oh, thank you for that, dictionary definition, knuckleheads. We cannot presume that anyone can come and drop off file documents on your behalf unless it is by you. Miss Manuel is simply requesting authorization from you, allowing your mother to file your documents and to pick up the documents, audio recordings on your behalf. Thank you for clarifying your approval, allowing your mother to file documents. We will honor your request. Oh, cool. Thank you, Tamara. You idiot. But anyway, that was sent back. And then it was not a coherent. This first response from the Chief Judge, Rona Washins, was somewhat coherent, but the second one, I have no idea, man. But anyway, this is what she wrote back, the Chief Judge. I cannot communicate with individuals who may have matters pending before any of the courts. I will be deleting this email and leave the court administrator to address this as she sees fit and proper. Then her second response, not more than 10 minutes later, or earlier in the day, at 14:11, which is 2:11 for people that don't know military time. Eye scanner, September 20th, Doc 1. As I have previously and consistently responded to personal emails from subjects of the court, so she's already admitted that she personally responds to emails from people of court like me. I guess I'm considered a subject in their court, which I don't waive any of my rights. She's like, as I have previously and consistently responded to personal emails from subjects of the court, I cannot accept communication outside of court proceedings and will be deleting this email. Have you guys ever seen Wedding Crashers, where at the beginning of the scene where this lady says, you shut your mouth when you're talking to me, and you're just sitting there scratching your head like, what? This is the same type of thing. She says that she responds to personal emails from subjects of the court, but she cannot accept communication outside of court proceedings. I don't get that. And then her second paragraph, which I have no idea what this means. Any review and or response to it to the discretion of the court administrator, justice service director, and OLC. Then this is supposed to be an educated, legally Juris Doctorate, professionally educated attorney writing this letter. And I have no idea. This could be Greek to me. And I still don't. If you people know or could understand or do that, see that, I have no idea what the heck that even said or meant. But anyway, so that was the most recent things that just happened today. As I said, I want to try to keep them short so that I keep your guys' attention spans. But what I do want to tell you really quick that before I get off here, because I'll post again tomorrow when I have some more time. I've been super busy with Spokane Fatherhood Initiative, Spokane Tribe of Indians, Indian Child Parenting classes, social treatment organization programs. So I've just been doing all these programs, and then I just recently got asked to be a mediator. So I have to go do training, certification, and then licensing to be a mediator from my attorney, and he wants me on his team to be a mediator for him. And so that's really good news. And then now I've got several Marine organizations and Army organizations that would like me to speak to their children and to the tribes about military service and things like that. So those are awesome things that are happening for me. Third most awesome thing that was happening, and if there's military veterans that are watching this, I still think there's some time for you to get in. But recently, they settled, 3M settled for hearing, earplugs for hearing. So for people like me that have lost or have tinnitus because of their service in the military, you're going to get a compensation back for that. And so it's in the compensation amount was $6.1 billion for all of the folks like me that are in there. So I don't know when that's going to come. They said 12 to 24 months. Just hurry up and wait, and whatever I get. And the majority of that will, 30% of that will go to the attorney, evidently. But, I don't care if it's 1,000 or 2,000. That's still money that it's nowhere near what I should be getting. But hey, it's money, and it'll go towards my attorney and to my children. But last but not least, before I get off on here, I want you folks to think about this. The whole thing that the tribe has, and what they're trying to impress upon me and anybody else out there, is that they have exclusive jurisdiction because they're a tribe that practices exclusive jurisdiction. However, in their own revised Yakima codes, in their own in federal law and in state law, ICWA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Department of Justice, all these organizations, what it specifically says is that, yes, a tribe has exclusive jurisdiction. However, if the parties, meaning Crystal, Buck, and I, and our children, do not reside or domicile within the exterior boundaries of that reservation, then they do not have jurisdiction. Plain and simple, cut and dry, black and white. If they don't have that, then they don't have any jurisdiction. And that's what it is. They don't have any of that over me, my children, or Crystal. So basically, Spokane County Superior Court is just passing the buck because they don't want to deal with it, because probably their thought is, hey, fucking Indians, let them deal with it. I know that some officials have told me, are like, hey, if Indians shit in their own people in their own backyard, we don't care unless it bleeds out off the reservation. Well, this is bleeding off the reservation. This isn't just some silly game that I'm playing with my children or want to play with my children. These are civil rights. These are constitutional rights that are afforded to everybody, whether they live on the reservation like them or off the reservation like me. So 3 things that they have to have for jurisdiction, which they don't have, and which my attorney and several other attorneys that I've consulted with, they have to have 3 elements. First element being personal matter. They don't have personal matter jurisdiction over me, my children, or Crystal. Subject matter. They don't have subject matter jurisdiction over me, Crystal, or my children. And third, they don't have territorial matter over Crystal, myself, or the kids. So what that means is that it just amplifies that they don't have jurisdiction, but yet Yakama Nation, because of nepotism, because of corruption, and because of their influence in that corrupt organization, which is basically, the RICO Act, racketeering, influential, influencing corrupt organizations, they're making these fraudulent, invalid, illegal orders and presenting them as legal. Well, when they come to people like me that know that that's not correct and that's not the law, then they fall back and say, well, it's discretionary up to the judges. No, it's not discretionary to the judges, any judges of this land, of any tribe. When the law is the law, that's the law. You are required and mandated to follow the law. Other thing along with that is the second thing that they try to say, and I'll bring it up later, and I don't have the, well, I do have it, I just don't want to dig it out right now, is the documentation that the two things that they all try to fall back on my first federal court case is that they have sovereign immunity because they're Yakama Nation. Well, I'm not suing Yakama Nation. I'm suing those 17 individuals in their individual capacities. So they're trying to stump the chump with a federal court judge, and they're probably stump the chump with everybody else. But they do not have sovereign immunity. The reason why they don't have sovereign immunity, and this is the biggest thing, and it reads right in the Department of Justice and federal law and their own RYCs, is that when they act outside their scope of authority, which they have in this case and many other cases, as I bring up, then they are automatically waived from any legal immunity, any sovereign immunity, because that means that they've done illegal orders and presented them as good orders. So that's harassing me. It's harassing people that fall under this, and it's bringing bad faith orders and presenting them as real. And that's obviously fraudulent. So it's a matter of me just saying, hey, this is how it is. These are the facts. I have the facts, and I do have the facts, and I have the court cases, and I have these judges talking to each other, conspiring, and even conspiring with Crystal herself in ex parte communications, which I was not privy to. So that's where it is. Second thing that you might ask in that, but the third element of that is, well, how can you sue them in their official capacities? Well, again, it goes back to if they were doing their job, even in their official capacity, they can only go so far in what their authority gives them in their official capacity. But when they act outside that authority and that official capacity, then it waives their legal immunity and it waives their sovereign immunity. For individual capacity, same thing. They acted outside their scope of authority. They were depriving myself of rights under the color of law. And what that is analogous to is, let's say that you, for instance, you get pulled over by a cop for whatever traffic offense or whatever criminal act that you've done. That police officer cannot sit there and give you a trial and then expect you to do community service or pay a fine or fee. That's not within his scope of authority. He can't do that. So that's the same thing here. These people that are in positions, elected or otherwise, are making decisions and pawning them off as legal court orders, and they're not. So individual capacity, they can be sued. Again, I think I showed you that information, the Supreme Court decision in bank, which means all of them were there. And an 8-0 decision said that tribal employees, tribal officials can be sued for monetary damages. So that's what I'm doing, suing them in their individual capacities. Also, and I will end with this, I promise. Sorry, I'm taking it a little long. It's been a while since I've been on here. Also, the $3 million that I'm suing for is for that emotional pain and suffering over that period of time, because all this stuff has been happening since 2018, unbeknownst to me. So this woman who was filing this stuff behind my back was still living with me, and we produced her fourth child, our third child together, and was still living with me. That's so such a betrayal, such a betrayal. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. I hope you guys are all doing well. God bless. Good luck. And please give me any questions, and I'll try to field them as soon as possible. I want to do a shout out to there's a Sham Kane 1 penny. I'm sorry to hear that the tribe has done this to you for so many years since you were born. Hey, they've been doing this to me since I was born too as well. But again, if people stand together, you have strength in numbers. Just think of that fist. If you have that fist and you're those people and you're going against the tribal court or any other organization that's screwing you over on your rights, as long as you don't break from that fist, there's nothing that can get in that fist. But the minute that you take that thumb or any other finger out, you can break that thing open. That's the same way with people. If you stand together and you do what's right and you do the next right action, you're going to prevail. You're going to prevail through perseverance and through the willingness of God. And people will come to you. People will sit there and seek you out. So I hope this helps you. I'll try to be back on tomorrow night to do some another update on some of this stuff and get into some more juicier details for you. But you guys have a good night, and I hope to see your questions, and God bless.